with a splash of golden terra oil. A mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra Oil, for pure love.
The government of Senegal is indicating interest to strengthen partnership with Nigeria for peace building in the West Africa sub-region. Minister of African Integration and Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Senegal, Mrs. Yassine Fall, indicated the interest on a visit to President Bola Tinubu. The special envoy was in the State House to deliver the message of the Senegalese President, Bassirou Diomaye Faye. After her meeting with President Tinubu, Mrs. Fall also revealed to State House correspondents that her country also has interest to increase the level of partnership with Nigeria. Leaders of the Nigerian movements worldwide today joined President Bola Tinubu to observe Jumat prayer at the State House. The guests were led by the grand leader of the movement, Sheikh Mohammed Mahi Inyas. After the Jumat prayer led by the State House Chief Imam, Sheikh Abdul Wahid Abubakar, the leader of the Tijaniya movement led a special prayer for President Tinubu and for peace and stability of the country. Addressing newsmen shortly after the Jumat prayer, the cleric said their visit was part of their annual program in Nigeria. Sheikh Mahi described President Tinubu as a patriotic and compassionate leader who is always concerned about the well-being of all Nigerians and the progress of the nation. The Lake Chad Governors Forum has adopted the Borno State model of reconciliation, rehabilitation and reintegration as a policy framework towards ensuring regional cooperation on stabilization, peace building and sustainable development. This is contained in a communique issued at the end of its fifth meeting under the auspices of the Yobe State government held in Maiduguri. Tina Turu reports.
The fifth Lake Chad Governors Forum concluded with stakeholders reaffirming their commitment to strengthening food systems, cross-border coordination and durable solutions for internally displaced persons, with key resolutions to include reintegration efforts, tackling youth unemployment, as well as combating drug trafficking and addiction. The communique, which aligned with a new regional strategy, adopted the Borno model of reconciliation, rehabilitation and reintegration, emphasizing support for the multinational joint task force and leveraging agriculture for economic revitalization. In a demonstration of renewed commitment, Yobe State Governor May Malabuni was appointed the new chairman of the Lake Chad Governors Forum.
It is my hope, as the first governor, that we will internalize, domesticate, and act on the lessons and resolution of this meeting.
Stakeholders described the forum as a strategic platform for addressing regional challenges with stabilization strategies set for implementation until 2030.
Our mandate is to ensure that the women empowerment, the young people empowerment, the sexual reproductive health agenda will be very fully integrated.
Development partners, including the United Nations, World Bank and African Union, reaffirmed their support for the forum's objectives, regional peace, stabilization and economic development. In Maiduguri, Tina Turu, NTA News.
The National Assembly has set up a technical committee to organize a Nigeria-China Sustainable Trade, Investment and Bilateral Relations Summit this year. The key objectives of the summit include showcasing credible investment opportunities and market-ready projects for investor engagements. It also aims to strengthen Nigeria-China relations as leading global economic and business partners. Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Nigeria-China Parliamentary Relations, Jafar Yakubu, inaugurated the technical committee to be led by Kunle Yusuf of Merited Negotiation Consulting. It comprises representatives from key entities, including the Chinese Embassy, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, the National Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, as well as the Lagos and China Chambers of Commerce. The House Committee called for synergy with Merited Negotiation Consulting to ensure the success of the proposed summit. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has reaffirmed its commitment to bridging financial access gaps for young people. At the debriefing for the Summit of the Future in Abuja, the Apex Bank unveiled plans to continue unlocking the potential of the group to drive economic growth and build a more sustainable future. Musa Abubakar reports.
Nigeria's youth, dynamic, innovative, and ready to shape the future. At the heart of the ambition, the Central Bank of Nigeria takes center stage, hosting the CBN Youth Action event with a resounding theme, "The Youth Are Here." This landmark gathering is a youth action workshop to empower youth and civil society with knowledge and insights needed to align with the Pact of the Future, a global framework for sustainable progress, inclusivity, and resilience for all.
Documents have been signed on your behalf. So we're here this morning to expose that document to you, to explain it to you, to see how you can come in.
We are dedicated to using our monetary policy tools to create an environment right for youth entrepreneurship and innovation. This includes youth-focused financial access and educational support in technology and sustainable sectors.
At the heart of this initiative is the CBN's strategic focus on youth-led economic development, unveiling policies that enhance financial inclusion, provide access to capital, and foster digital innovation.
Major action plan for the youth of this country is to support them, is to empower them, and is to protect them.
60 to 70% of the population of this country are young. Now, how will anyone deal with our expectations and demands if the ministry is seeing a budget of 17 billion? It's unacceptable. We will do our best as young parliamentarians to lobby the leadership of the House.
The message is clear. The youth are not just the future. They are here, now, ready to build, innovate, and lead Nigeria's next chapter. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service has set its revenue target for the year 2025 at 25.2 trillion naira after surpassing 19.4 trillion naira to 21.6 trillion naira in the year 2024. This was disclosed at the 2025 Strategic Management Retreat in Abuja. Bosade Ibelamusu reports.
The year 2024 was historic for the Federal Inland Revenue Service after surpassing a target of 19.4 trillion naira to 21.6 trillion naira, a target worth applauding. It's a new year, and the best way to predict a successful future is to begin with a plan. The reason the FIRS converged to strategically plot a focus on capacity building and skills development in line with global best practices, leveraging emerging technology and infrastructure enhancement that would redefine the taxpayer experience. Unveiling of the 2025 targets, this year's theme is focused on building a high-performing FIRS, elevating performance through collaboration and innovation, a roadmap for blocking leakages and restructuring economic stability as a vital pillar, an agent of renewed hope for all Nigerians.
So, Mr. President's mind, our decision, is to make sure that the taxpayer have conducive environment to do their business. So it is our strategy to block all identified loopholes and the use of technology.
Now everybody knows if your filing due date is June 30th, you have to file and pay by that date. Otherwise, you will pay the penalty.
Our focus this year is on practical, actionable outcomes.
The Revenue Service believe at the end of the retreat, the outcome will determine the implementation plan for the next 11 months that would enable the delivery of critical infrastructure, social services and opportunities that will transform the nation's economy. In Abuja, Bosade Ibelamusu, NTA.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Abba Abubakar Aliyu as the Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, REA. Aliyu's appointment, effective January 23, 2025, is for an initial 4-year term. Zanrat Dingbum has the details.
Abba Abubakar Aliu, who has been acting as the agency's managing director since March 2024, has over 20 years of experience in energy and organizational development in the private and public sectors in Nigeria and other countries. He has played key leadership roles in the on-grid and off-grid power sectors, as well as the water resources and transportation sectors of Nigeria's economy. Previously, he was head of the project management unit at the Nigeria Electrification Project, general manager of the Corporate Services Project, and research and deputy general manager at Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. Spearheading the nationwide adoption of utility-scale renewable energy of the RIA's mandate with the 2023 Electricity Act through the RIA Business Plan. Aliu holds a bachelor's degree in economics
Network News continues in Lagos. At the 2025 stakeholder among ministries, departments and agencies, as well as the potential took center stage. And borders.
This national single window.
This stakeholders forum, which is coming about 9 months after, aims to strengthen collaboration among
to log into that same platform and make their regulatory approvals.
The event creates a platform for experts from both within and outside the country each other.
We should not go too fast in the implementation stages to make sure that you have the buy-in of the community. That is what will guarantee
significant milestone in the whole implementation journey.
It's critical that we involve the private sector in everything that we are doing because ultimately they are the biggest beneficiaries to this system and they are the end users who will ensure that there's success in using the system.
It is expected that as key players align objectives and share insights, they will build a sense of collective ownership of the National Single Window Project for maximum impact on revenue generation. In Lagos, the Murtala Mohammed Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service says it recorded a significant milestone in 2024 with a 99.89% increase in revenue generation. Controller of the command, Michael Tony Awe, stated this in Lagos while presenting an overview of the command's performance in the year under review. Diana Ajali reports.
In keeping to its mandate of enforcing laws and regulations,
facilitating trade and upholding standards and professionalism. The Nigeria Customs Service has continued to record successes in its operations. The airport, being one of the strategic travel corridors in Nigeria, is always a beehive. Custom Area Controller of the Muritala Mohammed Airport Command, Controller Michael Awe, while presenting the command scorecard, said it generated a total revenue of 180,750,786,844 naira 36 kobo in 2024. It's against the 90.4 billion naira generated in 2023, showing an increase of 1 billion and 11 million naira, representing 0.56% above the set target.
These feats demonstrate our commitment to excellence and our constant dedication to enforcing government fiscal policies. We will continue to innovate, strategize, and block loopholes to ensure we meet our revenue targets.
He also highlighted the command's relentless efforts in anti-smuggling operations, which resulted in significant seizures of live ammunitions, packages of military hardware, illicit and harmful substances, drones, among other items. Michael Awe said this achievement was made possible by the command's enforcement team and effective collaboration of stakeholders, adding that it will maintain an open-door policy towards winning the fight. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. The news will continue with Benny Adams on Business News when we return from this break.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council has reported a notable 20.77% increase in the country's non-oil export performance for 2024, with total exports reaching $5.46 billion, up from $4.52 billion in 2023. Thomas Obatere reports on some of the key drivers behind this growth.
In 2024, Nigeria's non-oil export sector experienced a remarkable boost, with total export rising by 20.77% to $5.6 billion compared to $4.52 billion in 2023. NEPC Executive Director Noye Ayeni, while briefing newsmen on the sector's performance, pointed out that the surge was primarily driven by agricultural commodities. Notably, new markets were opened up in countries like Central African Republic and Eswatini.
We work with different development partners during the year that also helped us or supported us to achieve this. We have the GIZ move. They also helped us with Cashew Master Training Program, with the African Cashew Alliance in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
Ayeni attributed the growth to strategic collaboration and the positive impact of trade policies under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. She emphasized that these efforts have played a crucial role in unlocking new markets and strengthening Nigeria's export base. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Time now to bring you those business news with Benny Adams. Benny, you're on.
Thank you, Lami. And taking a look at how African economies fared in the month ending, talking about January, we take a look at a snapshot of Nigeria's economy as well as that of South Africa, Egypt, and co, where payment transactions in Nigeria reached 1.07 quadrillion in 2024, making a historic milestone. It is a 79.6% increase from the previous year. December alone saw 115.1 trillion spent through digital channels, setting a new monthly high. The surge is primarily attributed to the CBN's cashless policy and ongoing cash scarcity. And looking at Nigeria again, in January 2025, the bond auction raised 669.94 billion naira allotted in 3 tenors. The auction actually saw a strong investor interest with competitive yields reflecting market conditions, and the funds are expected to support key infrastructure projects and help address a fiscal deficit. And from Nigeria, we'll move to South Africa, where the South African Reserve Bank cuts interest rate amid global uncertainty. It is a 7.50% cut, continuing a series of cuts amid global economic uncertainty. And the decision is made in a split vote, suggests that more rate reductions could occur in 2025, though future changes would depend on domestic and international factors, where inflation remains within the target range. But risks like rising energy tariffs remain a concern. A quick look at Kenya. 23 banks slashed interest rates after the Central Bank of Kenya, a progressive cuts. These cuts are on loans and deposits following the central bank's easing measures. And the average lending rate dropped to 16.89% in December, while the deposit rate edged down to 10.41%. And the Central Bank of Kenya has also encouraged further rate reductions in line with its recent cuts. And lastly, take a look at Egypt. Egypt confirms the discovery of 8 million barrels of oil in the Gulf of the Suez. The 8 million barrels at the East Crystal 1 well in the Gulf of Suez is being drilled by Dragon Oil. Initial tests show more than 2,000 barrels per day, with potential for more as deeper layers are explored. And the find suggests Egypt's effort to increase domestic oil production and also reduce import dependency. And now a look at the markets, talking about the stock market in Nigeria, in South Africa, as well as in Tunisia. The stock market today, Nigeria's equities market closed Friday bearish, reversing the gains recorded in the previous session as investors lost 159.59 billion naira in portfolio value, with a market capitalization closing at 64.71 trillion naira. Looking at Nigeria, lost 0.24%. South Africa is positive with 0.42%, as well as Tunisia down with 0.11%. This is it on business. Lami, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Benny. Now, the Nigeria airspace has a relatively good safety record in terms of air crashes, but recent events in the sector have raised concerns on the safety of the airspace. In this report, correspondent Kabir Aliyu examines this trend and the way forward.
Unexpectedly, undesirable events may occur during flight operations, which can range from minor incidents to a catastrophic accident. These events can compromise the safety of passengers, crew members, and people on the ground. Factors responsible include human factors such as pilot errors, lack of proper maintenance, inadequate safety culture, weather conditions, and the runway incursions, among others.
We don't have enough equipment. If there is cloud or visibility is poor and you are approaching an airport, you must be able to get some equipment that will navigate and lead you to land well.
It is on record that the Nigerian airspace is one of the safest within the continent. However, number of crashes occur leading to a minor and major injuries. Record by the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau released several air accidents between year 2020 and 2025, including the January 28, 2025 Max Air Boeing 737, which experienced a nose wheel landing gear collapsed and a rear tire burst while landing at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, which recorded no casualties.
One thing that is very clear, more often than not, these mishaps are as a result of technical issues. And you can see what happened lately in the US with a chopper and a plane colliding.
The International Air Transport Association, IATA, and the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, say Nigeria's airspace has made a significant improvement in safety in recent years and is considered one of the safest in Africa, next to South Africa, Egypt, and Morocco.
Just a few days ago, there was the unfortunate incident in the US, and not the first of its kind across the globe in the last 1 month. There was the Jeju air thing that happened in Korea, taking almost 200 lives. There has been no single fatal incident commercially speaking, in Nigeria since Keyamo came on board, since Chris Nadumo came on board. And we will continue to do our job as we have always done.
While these incidents are hitting and concerning, the overall safety record of Nigeria airspace suggests that it is relatively safe. However, the NCAA, the NSIB, and other aviation authorities must continue to work together to ensure that standards are maintained and improved for the overall development of the sector and the nation as a whole. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now to security matters. The Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, has reaffirmed the ministry's commitments to monitoring and evaluating the implementation of the Nigeria Police Reform Roadmap. This was at a stakeholders' engagement on police reforms in line with the policing agenda of the federal government. Here is the report.
Emerging internal security challenges need contemporary policing techniques, and to achieve this, there is need for comprehensive reforms. And for such holistic reforms to meet the standard, the contributions of those that have the institutional knowledge count.
Thank you so much.
Minister of Police Affairs Ibrahim Gaidam informs the stakeholders of the federal government's commitment to implementing people-centered policing strategies that prioritize professionalism, accountability, and community collaboration.
The ministry will establish mechanisms to monitor and evaluate the implementation of the police reform roadmap. We will coordinate donors' support strategically in order to prevent duplication of efforts, optimize the convergence of assistance, and ensure judicious allocation of resources to identified priorities in our police development plan.
A lot of reforms have taken place, but with caveat, he emphasized that this particular reform is a harmonized one.
The NSA is highly committed to this process.
Reform must be institutionalized in a way that enables the Nigeria police force to sustain and advance these efforts independently in the future.
Recommendations at this stakeholders' engagement are expected to broaden the knowledge of police officers who are charged with the responsibility of internal security issues. Francis from NTA News.
In view of the large number of wounded soldiers from ongoing internal security operations across the country, Defense Headquarters has commenced the construction of the Armed Forces Invictus Center in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badr Abubakar, who performed the groundbreaking ceremony, says the center is expected to provide a holistic treatment to wounded soldiers and also sporting events.
The military is combating security threats in virtually all states of the Federation. This tends to increase casualties from military operations across the country. The Armed Forces Invictus Center in Giri, Abuja, is designed as a sanctuary of medical care, emotional and physical rehabilitation, and sports center for wounded soldiers.
The center is the first of its kind in Africa. It's an initiative aimed at providing a state-of-the-art facility that will aid rehabilitation and psychological recovery of the wounded, injured, sick officers and soldiers and veterans of the Armed Forces of Nigeria.
The center will therefore serve as a sanctuary where our soldiers and veterans can receive medical treatment and psychological support tailored to their unique medical challenges. The idea is to scope.
In a message, the founder of the Invictus Games, Prince Harry, applauded the commitment and support to wounded soldiers in Nigeria. Nigeria's participants at the 2024 Games held in Abuja described the project as a beacon of hope for soldiers.
With this project, we know that we, the wounded soldiers, are fully remembered and also recognized in our country.
The Invictus Games has helped me to recover from my injury mentally, emotionally, and physically.
The project is expected to be completed in 13 months. From Giri, Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
We'll now take a short break to bring you some messages. Do stay tuned. President Bola Tinubu congratulates Dr. Adekunle Hassan, a renowned ophthalmic surgeon, on being awarded an honorary doctorate degree by Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ogun State. The president commends the founder and chief medical director of the Eye Foundation Hospital Group for donating 500 million naira to establish a professional chair in ophthalmology at the university, describing the gesture as noble. President Tinubu also celebrates Dr. Olutoyin Okeowo on his 70th birthday, noting his contributions to Nigeria's business, education, and faith-based sectors. The president joins family, friends, and well-wishers to wish Dr. Okeowo many years of good health, happiness, and even greater fulfillment. Adhering to safety protocols is a mandatory procedure to all filling stations, especially while offloading petroleum products. An official of the Federal Fire Service, Tahir Muhammad Ayuba, gave the reminder. Shortly after an incident of tanker explosion was averted while offloading fuel at a filling station along Sani Abacha Way in Dutse, the Jigawa state capital. Awal Muhammad Kazauri reports.
The combined effort of the Federal Fire Service and that of state helped to contain the fire in what could have been another tragic experience in the state after the unfortunate Majia tanker explosion, which claimed more than 200 lives 4 months ago. Eyewitness account revealed that the tanker was at the fuel station to offload petrol, but few minutes into the process, the fire started, which up to this moment, no one, including the driver, could ascertain the cause of the inferno.
The
fire just started on its own. We are just standing. All of a sudden, it started.
The firefighters, who after responding to distress call, immediately swung into action, which helped in preventing the fire from further escalation. Though no single casualty recorded, the official of the Federal Fire Service, Tahir Muhammad Ayuba, advised filling stations and tanker drivers to always adhere to safety protocols no matter the urgency.
At any time, if they will be offloading the fuel, let them call the fire safety officers to be there. In case of any emergency, they can use them.
Further urge the public to learn lessons from what happened in Majia incident, avoiding crowd of onlookers and fuel scooping. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is partnering with the Federal Fire Service in order to eliminate fire-related crashes on Nigerian roads, especially in the wake of incessant tanker crashes in the country. Uyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
Different uniforms and different roles, but united by one factor: safety of lives. Their concerns about the loss of lives and property on Nigerian roads echoes the essence of this meeting. Hence, need to agree on lasting solutions to prevent and contain reoccurrence. Consensus reached include joint training of personnel from both agencies, joint enforcement patrol, as well as improved data sharing to enhance response times and effectiveness.
And while we have incessant crashes along the highway, maybe one or two, spots or places, we can also probably request that you have a small, probably maybe a spot, yes, also that will also manage with us and be able to also offer, rescue whenever the need arises.
Even if these people does not know the importance of their life, it is we that will make sure that, no, this is what responsibility and the mandate given to us by the federal government. We do not allow, if anything like that happens, the road safety men will always quickly get to that place. And at the same time, the fire service too will also stand by.
They both pledged their commitments to safety of lives and property on the highways with the determination to explore innovative solutions to the challenges facing the nation's transportation sector. Uyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
More stories and sports news in just a moment. Do stay tuned. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is revitalizing the young farmers' clubs in schools across the country to catch them young in the agricultural sector. To kickstart the process, young farmers' clubs in schools across Gombe State have been inaugurated. Zara Umar Adamu brings us the details.
Children are most receptive to learning and forming habits during their early years. Hence the resolve of the First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, to catch them young with the aim of changing the narrative on food security. This is with the revival of the Young Farmers Club in schools across the country, Gombe State inclusive.
Young Farmers Club can help young people develop agricultural skills and leadership, and can also help to improve the standard of living in rural areas. The Young Farmers Initiative is aimed at encouraging students to develop love for farming.
The ministry is ready to ensure that the activities of the Young Farmers Clubs are implemented through technical expertise of the ministry and in order to boost agriculture.
The fully kitted inductees say it is an opportunity for them to be part of the club and develop in agriculture.
Agriculture has brought many changes to life. With all things that the First Lady provides, we are so grateful.
This program rounds up agricultural support week-long activities in Gombe State, including training on poultry for women, smart farming for youth, livestock production, and fertilizer distribution to small-scale women farmers, among others. Zara Umar Adam.
The Nigerian Union of Pensioners under the African Alliance Insurance Company, who have gone without their monthly pension for 5 months, have taken their grievances to the National Insurance Commission, NACM, pleading for urgent intervention. Muplang Dakok reports that the pensioners demanded immediate payments of their arrears, reinstatement of their monthly pension stipends, and the transfer of their pension funds to a different insurance fund administrator. In response, NACM assured the pensioners of the government's commitments to resolving all the issues, emphasizing ongoing efforts to ensure they receive their pensions soon.
We need our money immediately. Why I'm telling this? Because we are hungry. And it is our responsibility to hold the African Alliance Insurance Company, PLC.
We gave specific instructions on the company. What we had tried to do while we came in late is to find out, hey, as at now, on our previous instruction on Monday, where are we? So we are up and trying to resolve these issues.
Next is latest updates from the world of sports, and Ayodeji is our guide.